that's the vibe, boys. That's the vibe.
That's literally the fucking vibe.
It's
bro.
literally us all around.
That's how we're starting.
I mean, I think we can do better than that, boys.
We can
Come
try,
on,
we can
boys.
try.
Yeah, it's just,
Now, Ramadan, usually by mid-Ramadan, it becomes less heavy. But for some reason, for me, now it's getting heavier than it was in the beginning.
really, I feel like okay.
Like now, like I would eat and like be lazy.
شوف هو لازم pre فطور nap and post فطور nap. I've discovered this to be the ideal.
Well, again, due to my schedule,
Yeah.
that is not a problem. I
Like-
wake up late anyway.
إيه هو okay. That's your pre فطور nap.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is sleep
Yes.
to other people.
Full slumber.
And then like I'd eat like, and you know, I don't eat a lot. And then all of a sudden I'm like crashing.
Yeah.
And I'm sipping on coffee and it's not doing nothing for me.
It's the sugars.
Well, I don't eat sugar for fطور.
What do you have for floor?
I already told you 6 pieces of mento.
6
Shurba.
Okay.
نقطة.
6 pieces of mento doesn't do anything يعني من ناحية like crashing.
I'm not gonna sugar crash on mento, bro.
It's made with dough, which is
Yeah.
carbohydrates, which transform into sugar.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be that quick turning sugar. It's not like drinking like Pepsi and shit. You're gonna crash automatically. Not 20 minutes after I eat, I'm crashing.
I mean,
That's Ramadan though.
That's the thing.
Hey, that's
Ramadan.
the
But that's the
Ramadan.
thing.
Bro,
And the beginning of Ramadan, I don't have that problem at all.
I've been having that problem.
I didn't have that
Beginning of
problem at
Ramadan,
all.
honestly.
I just started having this problem.
I think they call that the itis.
Yes.
Elaborate, please.
The itis is when you eat lots of meats and fatty things, you get sleepy.
ما في meats يقول لك.
منتو
منتو خضار.
Yes.
ما في منتو وجبنة.
منتو
جبنة.
Yo.
جبنة.
asking.
No.
منتو جبنة.
Although no.
منتو قشطة.
Well, again, we've never asked for Shem's opinion on food.
You've offended so many cultures.
We don't do منتو.
Even China is pissed off right now.
I'm just saying we do multiple types of sambusa.
You have kabsa.
Can I get a
for
cheese dumpling?
You have kabsa
Ugh.
for فطور.
Not really, but sure. Sometimes, occasionally, that's still a thing. Yes.
Again, cheese meant to.
No. Have we struggled here, fellas?
Now that you say it again, yeah, like
exactly.
now.
It depends on the type of cheese.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Camembert.
Turks, in your experience,
You just said
what
random
type-
things.
Just,
No.
just shut up.
You've
Stop
no,
talking.
no.
You
You've never had camembert in your
I
life.
have.
You ignorant
That's
Philistine.
why I know it. I obviously do have it.
Okay, first off, he was in a hotel that had it. Okay, it's not like he went out.
Yeah,
to have it.
that's what food usually is located.
Okay, sure. So,
Hotels, isn't it? They have restaurants that have food. Usually buffets, bad. But dude,
yeah, so my expertise depends on the hotel that I stay
yeah,
in.
where I stayed, basically.
Okay, all right.
The beginning of the food journey starts at the hotel.
Yes.
We're
The Holiday Inn Continental Breakfast.
Home of croissants and jam.
oh wow. Okay.
If it wasn't for the Holiday Inn, we would never had jam or croissants. Oh, shit.
Any input here and then this joke, which feel free. عشان كمان ما أكمل يعني أرجع للسالفة.
My input is that you keep shocking me with anything that comes to food.
Exactly.
Ooh,
I told you we don't go to Shams when it comes to food.
Food comes to Shams.
So Turks, what type of cheese do you think will fit better?
Whiz.
No.
Okay, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
No, not whiz.
That's not cheese. That's just nondescript fat.
Yes, which is my favorite type of fat.
Mozzarella.
yellow.
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. I think you need like
Not Gouda.
I think like a good hard cheddar, a sharp cheddar would work.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. No,
I think so.
You need something that stretches like mozzarella, like a what do they call it? The younger
Gouda?
cheeses. I don't know what they
Younger
call it.
cheeses.
The younger cheese.
Not younger cheese.
That's his rap name.
Minor.
That's his rap name.
Young cheese.
Yes. You can find them on SoundCloud. Turks
Hey.
at Little Young Cheesy.
Looking for that bread.
Young cheesy is a fact.
Hey.
Okay, that's Turks.
MBL, you hear us? Make it happen, please.
Please,
Make it happen, please.
MBL, please, please, no.
You know where we're going with this?
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah.
Totally forgot the NBL is listening.
I'm sorry for everything, MBL.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I'm sorry.
Say little young cheesy.
No, I would never. I would never.
He got it. He got it. Malik.
Okay, anyway.
But we digress, fellas.
We digress.
We digress. Have you listened to this podcast?
Post futur nap is شوف, I'm embarrassed to say that I was recently invited to a futur and I felt the need to have a post futur nap and I did.
Wait.
At the place?
At Ahmed's?
Yes.
Wow.
So, يعني, it was,
Yeah.
I appreciate how everybody
It was
respected
supposed to
my
be. It was
space.
supposed to be like a get together
It
with
was.
the boys.
It was.
And you just had to go to sleep.
بعدين صارت الساعة 8 وأنا
Okay,
نعسان.
how old are you?
Exactly.
شايب.
Yeah, on the chair.
لا شوف, it wasn't chair. كان أول شيء, so
جلسة أرضية.
you don't understand this جمعة. This is a recurring Ramadan جمعة that is very well organized and يعني خلاص.
And they don't like
in a sense.
Turkey. Yeah.
Yes, it's not your friends. too.
Exactly. None of them know you.
None of them don't want to be my friend.
My
Yes,
friends, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Except Ned.
Some of my friends and their friends too.
بالعافية عليك.
بعد الفطور خلصنا الرجال.
حلالكم.
تبون خذوه.
والله انبسطوا فيني.
الحمد لله.
Everyone likes a clown.
سألوا
Anyway, keep going.
سألوا عنك.
يعطيهم العافية. I couldn't make it.
شو اسمه. فخلصنا الفطور وكان حاط جلسة خارجية كذا. كان الجو حلو طبعا وأرضية الجلسة وعند المسبح مدري إيش. ونبيه أحمد he's thinking ahead. Okay, so الجلسة نصها مغطية think.
Yeah, just in case of rain, which it
Yeah,
did.
okay.
Yeah.
So شامسي ما صدق على الله خلص فطار كذا صلى الحمد لله يلا الحين بنقعد نشرب شاي
For the first time.
ونبغى نحلي خلصنا اوكي جينا بنسدح ينسدح شامسي و5 minutes later تبدا تمطر.
Oh,
So I had to,
أجواء.
Okay.
So this is the soundtrack to your sleep.
Yes, so I had to relocate into الجزء من الكنبة that did
A
not
real
have.
life white noise machine.
Yes, exactly. فأعطيتها ساعة حلوة كذا. Woke up feeling refreshed.
And I want to know what's the
And
point
everyone
of
went home,
Hold on.
except
Yeah.
you.
What's the point of telling us the story?
I had a good nap.
I had a good
Sorry.
nap. Breaking
Great
news.
nap.
Chefs had a good nap.
Yeah.
It is still Ramadan, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, this is
We have not moved an inch.
Yes. Nothing has happened.
Collectively trash as usual.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's it?
Yeah.
That's it. Awesome.
Alhamdulillah.
I guess that's it.
That's how we're starting.
سالفة للبيع.
باكج مع الصديق. باكج مع الصديق البيع.
الصوم عادي بلاش خفيف.
خلوه.
I'm telling him what he missed out on.
يعني
I'm telling him.
let's analyze the scene.
مطر و جاب
Let's
سنان.
analyze the scene.
Let's analyze السالفة البايخة هذه.
Okay.
Listeners, you have listened to his conversations about the past, I don't know, like 200 episodes.
Yes, 205.
Or so.
We've talked about many deep things, relationships, philosophy,
Life,
life,
love.
Politics.
AI for way too much time.
Too much time. And we will today.
Remember cryptocurrency?
Yes.
That was the thing.
Monkey JPEGs.
Yes.
And this guy at episode
This guy.
205.
205 decides to open up the episode, but yo, I had a good nappy nap.
Yeah, it was a great nappy yo. So I don't feel like you appreciate how nice it was.
He wasn't
تحت
there.
كان في مطر كان في هواء
Why should he appreciate
كان في
it? though?
سوالف أصوات شباب يلعبون بلوت يعني it was,
The sound of children.
there was a dog at some point you know
I reiterate.
he was biting people
There.
you know
Ya Allah.
Alhamdulillah.
Stupid conversation. Hey, welcome, Pastor Cups. It's your boy Adam. What's popping? Episode 205. Shout out to our YouTube viewers, YouTube listeners, and podcast listeners, Apple, Spotify. You know the vibes. And shout out to our Tesla viewers, and shout out to Tesla listeners. I got the homie Turks right behind me.
Hey.
I got Shams right next to me.
Yo.
Listen, number one is in the building.
I exist.
And thank you all for joining us. It is Ramadan, so you know the vibe. The vibe is off. Everybody is.
أنت بطح.
Yes.
the vibe is كنافة
This could be a 20-minute episode. Hope it won't be, but yo,
Hey, it might be. It
might be.
let's
Yeah.
find out
It might be.
Judging by the caliber of conversation, it might be.
how was your weekend
And the good
number
thing we
one
already knocked out like 8 minutes.
Exactly.
how was
But
your weekend number one did you have any good times
I had a really good nappy nap, actually.
yeah. tell us more
I had a record nappy nap.
tell us more
Astaghfirullah.
I slept a lot.
Yes, that's what he meant. He did
Yes.
nothing.
yeah
Shamsi, get
nothing
the
worth
hint.
the value يعني
Nothing. Not unlike me and you who went to Van Cleef and Apparel's.
see
On Thursday?
see yes
We got invited. Shamsi reached out to me and said, "Yo, I can't go alone by myself. I can't be single."
yes I need
like,
you
hold my hand.
I needed somebody to see the jewels with me.
Exactly. See the jewels.
Yo, phrasing, but okay. Go.
So we went to see Shamsi's jewels.
Yeah, they were mine. I wish, if only I might do it. It was
But,
the Time, Nature, and Love exhibition that's been running in the Saudi Museum for a couple of months now.
Yes.
Set up by the Ministry of Culture in partnership with Cleef Arpels, and it was a really nice exhibition, honestly.
Yes, there was a collaboration with Vogue, and there was a talk with Her Royal Highness Princess Noor Al-Fayed. So shout out to Her Royal Highness Princess Noor
Shout
Al-Fayed.
Shout out to you.
She's actually the real reason we all went.
Yes.
Like, so we went to see, show support, love, It was nice. Me and Champs get to take the tour and look at
a lot of things.
Okay.
We saw a lot of things.
I'm gonna tell you something, Champs. I told this to the boys before you came because I don't like you. So I talked behind your back, believe it or not.
Oh, really? No. Surprise.
Anyway, listen,
sadness.
I was like, you guys should have seen Champsy walking around all the jewelry.
Oh, the tour. There was a tour.
Yes.
Dude.
So,
yes, the context.
as a man who's been involved in this scene by force, okay, and who has an understanding, watching you get your mind blown over information about like jewelry overall, how it was put together, it was amazing. It was like a child in a play store. You mean to tell me this was worn by? Shamsi, yes.
It was a brave new world for me.
It
really was, honestly. Like I am not. This is not my scene.
But it was mind blowing.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not my scene. And the pieces that were on display, like so, the actual exhibition was split into the theme itself, which is time, nature, and love. Okay. So they showed you different pieces that encapsulate all of that. A lot of the pieces went back, 100 years easily. A lot of the pieces are private pieces that were taken from collectors and, just to be showcased in the exhibition. And just the range of the craft, like the fact that you have a tiny, matchbox that is completely covered in rubies. The fact that you have a huge bracelet that can be broken down into a huge piece.
A brush.
A huge piece.
It wasn't a piece. It was the brush that breaks into a necklace.
Exactly.
And
the engineering that goes into that. And for me, just like the actual display of the mastery of the craft, that was the mind blowing.
Yeah. Give me the best of.
It's almost as if this is a thousands of year old craft and tradition.
Exactly.
That is the basis. It has basis in every culture and society.
It's as if the Queen of England, R.I.P.
Pour one out.
Yeah, no. Okay, I think so. Pull one out. Anyway, so wasn't it when the diamond piece from India that's on top of our crown?
The Maharaja.
Yes.
Yeah, that was incredible. Honestly.
Yeah.
There was one particular piece that was
that in the display?
No, it wasn't. But
no,
you can
that
see
was in England.
Yes, that was in England.
Yeah, but that was one of the pieces inspired by that. It was called the Maharaja. There was one particular piece that was inspired by the city of Izmir that me and you saw.
Oh yes.
That had several different pieces inspired, had different animals.
It's like even the landscape with the buildings, with the domes and everything.
That was amazing. So it was.
I think I saw that one on Cultural Crossroads. She posted a picture of that.
Cultural Crossroads. She does amazing coloring. Cultural Crossroads on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. Please follow. You can see all these amazing things, everything that's happening in Riyadh. She does an amazing coverage over them, and also she takes amazing pictures, bro.
She does.
I'm not saying we're jealous. I'm not saying that we're hating, but we are like openly hating because you're
not
too
hating.
good.
We're showing.
No, we're hating. Okay.
Thank you for highlighting all these nice things.
No, it's like you want to do
Thank
something.
you for having better skills.
Yes, exactly. It's like, I'm gonna go take a picture of that. Nah, she's gonna do a better job. I'll just wait and repost it.
She already
just repost it.
She already did.
She already did.
Yeah,
That's true. So shout out to Culture Crossroads.
So it was split into 3 sections.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the best piece in each section?
Bro, all of them were amazing.
It's really hard. Like the first room that you walked in, basically the second room actually that you walked in had 6 different pieces that were inspired by 6 different geographical locations, like a Japanese matchbox, like an Arabian leopard, necklace.
Interesting.
All of these different, inspirations. And the longer you kept going into the exhibition, the more you saw, the inspirations coming from different places. So the fact that you had nature was you had a lot of pieces inspired by animals. And one of the things that was highlighted during the tour, shout out to amazing tour that I had. Honestly, thank you to Her Highness for actually inviting me to be part of the tour. The fact that the animals are all shown in very feminine descriptions. They're very gentle. You don't have a lot of masculine energy when it comes to how the pieces itself were crafted. It's the actual exhibition is I think going till the 15th. So there's a chance for people to check it out if you still want to.
Yeah, time to take it. It's another week.
Yeah, another week. Yeah. One more week.
It's located at the National Museum
in Riyadh.
Yes, in Riyadh. Go get enjoy the traffic.
A friend of mine.
Parking is available, but enjoy the traffic.
A friend of mine actually said a phrase that I found very interesting a couple of weeks ago regarding jewelry in general. My friend is, I would like to call, a super wealth man.
Okay, so before you finish this, I just want to give you a round of applause that he has other friends.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, well
I
done.
didn't expect that.
Bravo, bravo. You're also real to them too.
Respect.
Yes.
Respect.
Still don't
Okay.
believe it.
Psychosis is منتشرة في الناس.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mass hallucination.
Mass
Yes, I
event.
just say respect that you actually have friends.
Yes.
You know what you're saying? Your one friend,
My one friend, super wealth man.
Your other
super
friend.
wealth man. Yes.
Super wealth man. Super wealth man has his wife, super wealth wife.
Yes. Shout out.
She has quite the jewelry habit. And super wealth man, he's very not understanding, yo, this is just like rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And she said to him, and a singular sentence that put it all into perspective for her. She said like,
Yeah, حيوان. This is how it starts.
yes, Abek.
Yes, Abek.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of respect.
Yes.
This is marriage. Yes, Abek.
Me as a female, I look upon jewelry the same way a lot of guys look upon cars. There's a lot of intricacies, there are a lot of fine details, fine craftsmanship. There's levels to this, and it's a world that once you dive into, you can never dive out of.
I would agree 100%. If I did not go to exhibitions and see it for myself and actually heard the stories and understood the process, I would not give it the same level of appreciation as everybody else. The same thing with watches and timepieces. We were just watching Jacob and Co. While we're super broke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing me to watch that, guys.
Hey, we should all feel my pain.
I was actually disappointed that all three of you knew what the hell was going on, and I was just the only one lost here. I'm like, okay,
well, Shamsi, this is not part of what you do.
yes.
Human trafficking, you don't understand.
No,
Okay.
no.
Timepieces,
No.
jewelry, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Politics, you understand.
Things that are intricately engineered are not my
Yes.
forte. I am not going to
These
lie.
Exactly.
listeners, these are watches that are basically worth more than your house.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we are not exaggerating the least here.
Yes. You have, speaking of,
Okay, no, excuse you. Timepieces. They're not watches.
before we move forward, as per the podcast, we always have to fill in some information that we lived through the process. I just want to tell everybody that I had to explain to Champs that you can press on your phone camera and reduce the exposure when taking pictures.
Yeah.
He did not know that existed.
Bro, I'm still learning.
I'm still learning. I was like, welcome to iPhone 5, motherfucker.
Life is a continual process of growth. You know, I'm not
Every day is an
not going to be shamed. Adil.
Because, you can't see the diamond. You can't take a picture of a diamond because it's so bright. So you reduce your exposure.
Like the sun, shine bright like a diamond.
No, but see, I appreciate Adil for showing interest in my photography.
Oh, he
skills.
liked it. He liked it a lot.
Yeah.
He liked it.
You're stupid.
He's an
You're
idiot. He's a
absolutely
complete fucking
stupid.
idiot.
Yes.
But yeah, what's the name? It's intriguing once you start understanding it, minus the blood. And everything that has to do with Africa. When you ignore all that
Yeah.
and you become white, it becomes easy to swallow.
Yep.
Anyway,
Let's not forget where all the emeralds and rubies came from.
yes,
Abdul, yes.
that's definitely it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is just like timepieces. It's very, very. It's not let's just put a piece of diamond on something.
Well, even
When you start learning the princess cut, the diamond cut, I'm like, oh, okay, hold up.
even-
there's levels to this that I'm not
Wait,
even nowhere
there's,
near.
there's different colors of diamonds. There's pink diamond, yellow diamond. What is this?
bro, there was this necklace with a black pearl. It was an earring.
Yeah, earring.
Oof.
Yes.
Oh, bro.
If no one understands how much does it cost for the black pearl,
bro.
Google.
I've never seen like an actual black.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
It's really
nice.
gorgeous.
And even the timepieces, like one of the timepieces, I was listening to the story, and like it was basically crafted in a way where you could actually see the time if you had your hands
Forward.
like this.
Yeah.
So you're not rude if you're just looking at your watch just to check what time it is.
Here's the thing. Like
Was for who?
For one of the duchesses, Duchess
of
something.
Mozambique or
Windsor,
something.
Windsor.
I don't know.
I like surprisingly enough, I had this deep wiki hole. I entered like a day yesterday specifically. I was curious because I was watching something about Rome, and they mentioned.
Of course you were.
Of course, I was.
Yes. Of course you were. This is why we're friends.
It was the weekend
Yeah,
champs.
exactly. This is why we're friends.
was the weekend.
We look into Legionnaire swords, on Tuesdays.
Yes.
It's Saturday.
Yes.
You
It's
know
Rome.
what it
It's
is.
Rome time.
Yes.
And they were
The fourth centurion.
they were discussing how purple dye was so expensive back
Yeah.
in the day.
That's why royalties had it.
It's the color
Yeah,
of
because like
kings.
okay, I've heard this factoid before, but what is it about? Apparently, there's a very specific type of sea snail.
Yes, who was discovered by
I don't know, Roman.
Mr. Sea Snail.
No, it was pre-Roman. It was pre-Romans. It was the Canaan,
Whatever.
the Canaanites.
Yes,
Yes.
the precursors.
He's my favorite wrestler.
الفينيقيين. Well, who are the precursors to الفينيقيين, who were a very, sophisticated seafaring civilization.
Yes. Yes.
Go on.
And apparently you had to crush tens of thousands of these snails just to get like single scarf or something. So it's very expensive. So that led me into this hole of what is
Color.
not just that, but what is like expensive perfume and
Why is it expensive?
why is it expensive? Like apparently lambar is whale poop.
Yes. Yes.
I just discovered this.
Nice.
Okay.
Yes.
It's
So
And that's why it's very rare.
Wait,
Yes.
hang on. Do they go and make the whale poop?
Yes,
no,
they give
they-
it laxatives. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so first you go to SeaWorld.
How do you
You
get
gotta
whale
free
poop,
will it.
No,
bro?
no. You gotta go to the wild, man. You gotta go.
Wait, hang on. How do you get?
first you go to Tijuana.
Does it float? Do you find it
Yes,
floating?
it floats on shore.
On shore.
Yeah,
Okay.
it floats.
So I thought you had
It's not a-
fishermen going out
Chelsea, you
and looking
are
for whale poop.
ridiculous.
I don't know.
How are they
bro.
going to have the conversation, Chelsea?
No, just rub the tummy. Rub the tummy. You got this.
You know where whales. You know where whales live, don't you? Whales have mating grounds
Yes.
or something, don't they?
Yes.
فتروح وين يتجمعون اوكي
Yeah, but there's a sign.
That's a different-
Don't poop in the mating ground.
Mating whales, that's a different exclusion, Chelsea. That's a different thing.
just to swim around.
I love how he described that there's a whale brothel.
No, ايه في زاوية
بحر في زاوية.
يتجمعون. Literally that's what I'm imagining, bro. Okay.
تقاطع الهادي ولا تلصي.
Bro, you know
Yeah. في بيت شعر في المحيط الأطلسي.
اسمع. Guys. Let's أول شيء let's respect the ocean, okay? As a very deep,
Yes,
dark,
ocean respecter Shamsi here.
Let's respect the ocean.
as a very deep, dark place where a lot of unknown things happen, okay? So
But there's no brothel. son.
اسمع.
Okay.
So one of the unknown things that I know, because it's not unknown anymore, is that there are deep sea water flows. Okay.
Yes.
It's like rivers under the ocean.
Yes.
Okay. And it's like warm water, and then sometimes it's cold water.
Yes.
And this
Yes.
is what drives, El Nino and things like that. Okay.
Just say hurricanes. El Nino.
El Nino is not a hurricane. Am I doing
El Nino like 20 years
It's
ago.
a weather phenomenon, okay? Anyways,
El Nino.
so I would imagine the whales, in order to
racism. Welcome to the podcast.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I would imagine whales, because of their mammals and they need, special conditions to mate and so on.
Yeah, they need music, candlelight.
Okay. At some point during
Very white.
Here's the question
There you
then.
go.
So when we go to sleep, we hear whale sounds. What do whales listen to?
The sea.
This podcast.
I don't know.
This
This is
asshole, this podcast.
Okay. So, anyways, the whales would find specific locations within the sea for where conditions are at an optimum.
Yes,
And
called
then-
Mykonos.
Yes.
They meet in Mykonos. They vacation too, Chelsea.
That's an example. أكيد في زاوية هناك somewhere.
They have like 1,000 islands.
In
son.
the rocks, that's what I'm saying. In the rocks. So men, because we're advanced,
Hold up, in the rocks. Hold up,
we
hold
can
up, pause.
squash
So the
purple
whale-
dye snails.
So the whales
Shit.
would leave to the rocks just to mate.
يروح هناك.
Do you know how whales work?
They swim
They're just there.
They do.
quite deeply, I assume.
So back to whale poop.
You meant reef.
Yeah, so
That's
Okay.
what you meant.
back to whale poopy.
I'm just surprised now at how nature works.
Yes.
Very well.
Nature is mysterious.
So people just go. So people.
Yes, boy. Nature's mysterious. So again.
So people just go around shores looking for whale poop.
yes.
Yeah, because we always number one is always sitting by the beach. That's how he has all this
Yeah,
information.
yeah.
You're asking the wrong person, bro.
Bro, he reads.
Let him finish.
So whale poop washes up. It has a nice smell. They use it for perfume, and that led me to why is oud so expensive? Oud is apparently wood that has been treated with a specific mold, and the reason it smells that way pungy because the tree itself excretes a special resin to fight the mold.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is infected with
Exactly.
So we're smoking and we're not smoking.
Smoking.
We're
Where do you live?
We're
burning.
Inhaling.
Burning, special
inhaling. Yeah,
Burning, special word.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, mama.
There is a lot of
that before, mama.
there is a lot of smoke involved. I'm just saying. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. And people figured this out thousands of years ago.
Yes.
And it's still a thing.
And the fact that
And it's still a thing.
it's all,
Humans.
all of this.
They didn't evolve the way it works.
Allah, they do. They have factories
that's
where
what
they
they do
can
today,
like,
Chef.
actually apply the mold and like
Yeah. It's,
Oh shit! Really? That's how you get oud?
That's how it's cheap now.
yeah.
No
That's
way.
the cheap part.
That's
yeah.
the cheap. The
And I
expensive
still-
one still
Is the natural one.
is the natural.
ايه انا احسب لسه من الشجر.
No, there's
is.
still,
Some
there's still,
still.
ew,
but
still.
like it's in a lab. Yeah. The mold is like treated in a lab.
It's
And
like burgers.
basically, yes.
The impossible burgers.
Yeah, impossible burgers.
Yes.
Wow.
And like it kind of led me
Okay.
to a whole like a lot of the things that are very very expensive are also very very disgusting apparently.
yeah.
Oh yeah, coffee. Refer to coffee,
Yes.
please.
No,
Coffee's not expensive.
coffee luwak actually the most expensive coffee in the world
Yes.
Explain why.
because it's pooped out from
Remember
mongooses.
Timon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get a mongoose. You get a mongoose
As one does.
As one does.
That's what it does.
Yes.
Step one, get a mongoose.
That's on Wednesdays, Ibadul. We get mongoose on Wednesdays.
Yes, you go to the mongoose store.
Mongoose.
You go to the mongoose store. You go, يا علي جيب واحد mongoose.
Yes. Okay.
And
we're
if you-
back again.
Sophisticated conversations. Okay.
And they eat the coffee bean, and they poop out the coffee bean.
And then you pick it out.
You pick it out. You clean out.
Give it a rinse.
Give it a
Give it a rinse.
preferably.
You know, just give it a blow.
Pick it up.
5-second rule. Just pick it up.
Rub it on your shirt.
Okay. See, this is why I don't do coffee. This is why.
That's why. That's
No,
why.
that's not all coffee, bro.
That's the most expensive
one.
fancy coffee.
That's the most
Shaif,
expensive.
No,
fine, fancy shahi
again, the reason-
doesn't have to be pooped out at anybody.
Again, the reason it's expensive is because of the
mean-
process.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it gives it a special flavor and pungency.
Yeah.
And you make the coffee out of it, and it's very expensive.
Tastes like amber.
And coffee,
Tastes like alcohol.
coffee is actually one of those things that has had a very interesting history in terms of how it was, adapted and taken on.
Oh my God, here we go.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
but it was.
Let him cook.
No, listen,
not
once upon a time, coffee was not viewed. It was a revolution in drink making.
Okay, go on. I'm gonna offend him. Go on. Recite.
No, I'm not-
Recite the whole poem.
No, it's not about that. It's just like it changed the way people acted because it changed the way people,
Yeah, it got
people's
people,
chemistry.
it got people wired.
It got people wired, exactly. And for a long time, a lot of people had a problem with that. And
Because caffeine is a drug.
It is.
yeah, sure. But
Yes.
was it? You think that's the problem they had? When they recognized? Was it the fact that they recognized it as that?
fits the medical definition.
شراب الشيطان كان يسمونه شراب الشيطان.
It fits
It
the
was
medical.
banned.
عشان ما
Yeah.
يخليك
Lot
تنام
of
في الليل.
places.
Yes, it fits the medical definition of a stimulant because it is a stimulant.
It is.
It's the fact that we're fine with it. Hands is
It's cool.
Yeah, anyway.
It's a good
All
business. it's a good business.
Good business. Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, it's not that great of a business.
Starbucks is a bank. Malik.
It's
Yeah,
delicious.
that's a different conversation to have.
Coffee is
Sugar,
delicious.
When sugar, how did sugar become a thing? Right? Sugar. Plantation.
There's this thing called slavery. You might have heard of it.
yeah, true.
Trust me, he did.
No, but speaking of wiki holes, I dropped into a wiki hole that led me to the Canary Islands and how they were, basically colonized. They were colonized basically to plant sugar. So it was a very tree-dominated island, and they literally cut all the trees in order to make sugar. It had to take something like 800 trees to make like a single pound of sugar, something like that.
Oof.
Yeah, super energy intensive. And then they're like, okay, this works, it sells. Let's just go and do this in the New World. And then Cuba happened.
Or the white people came around and forced.
Yes.
Yeah, it worked for them. That's what I'm saying. It
I'm
worked
just
for
saying,
them.
Gary.
Yeah.
Well, most of the occupations that Britain did.
Brinded.
Okay, no, this was okay.
Yeah, but all of it was around trade.
In Fairdom, this was the Portuguese.
It doesn't matter, but still, all of them.
Yeah.
A different flavor of white.
Yeah. See, no one speaks about how the Portuguese started slavery.
Colonizing.
They did?
Yes.
They're the OG slavery.
Wallah.
Okay, they were the first. They were among the
Yeah.
first colonizers.
They
No,
had-
they were the first to start that business. With
Yeah,
the
they
Congo.
had the merchant empire. Like they had settlements in like Somalia and Zanzibar and like هذه ميناء حقنا.
They made it to India. They made it to Jeddah. not just India. Like they had,
The Portuguese.
they had
made it in
ports.
Japan.
They had ports.
They made it to Japan. Like the first Christians in Japan were from Portugal.
وش اسمه هذاك اللي لف العالم؟
بطوطة.
بطوطة.
مو بطوطة. لا, there's a Portuguese
Magellan.
guy.
Jackie Chan?
Yeah, Magellan.
Magellan.
Magellan was the first man to circumnavigate the
Wasn't
globe, and
Jackie
he was Portuguese.
That's the 80 Days guy.
No, that's a fictional story.
That is.
Yes.
No,
That's
never
that's
mind.
Dora the Explorer. You
Yo,
piece of shit.
That's Jules Verne, you unsophisticated
What?
fucker. Jules Verne, around the world in 80 days. And then under 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Yes.
The man went around.
Okay. Literally. Okay.
Yes. One of the most prolific authors in history wrote many things. Yabu Shamsi,
Yeah. He was good at it. He was good at it.
the first true science fiction writer.
Where are we going with this, fellas?
Nothing. This is an awful episode.
Y'all took over here.
Yeah.
Kidnap
vibes,
and butter
like
and well poop.
Yeah.
And then we just got over here for
Yeah,
some
well,
weird
poop
reason.
was interesting.
Excuse me. The technical term is well poopy.
Poopy. I'm sorry. I'm not educated.
What's myrrh? Myrrh.
Mercury.
You know what myrrh is?
I see it in a couple of spells here and there, but I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Translate. Let's translate.
Okay,
Look
translate
at you.
myrrh. Is it 1 R or 2 R's?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a slow month.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the kind of content we put out every single week.
Myrrh.
Fun fact, there's a museum of pigment somewhere in Europe where they have like samples of each and every pigment source that you can...
So it's just not pigs and bunches of mint?
Okay.
No, it's not.
Shut the fuck
It's
up.
not menthol pork. No.
I'm going to turn off this mic. I swear.
But I think the most expensive pigment they have is like mummy powder or something like that, which is stupid.
That sounds like a fetish.
I don't think so. Mummy powder?
Mummy
Is it
powder?
made from actual mummies?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a crime against humanity.
It's a very specific shade of gray. No, beige. Which I don't know who he needs. Salah. Did you translate it?
It's called.
I tried to kill so much time.
Yes.
المر.
he tried.
لا لا المر لأنه it's the same
اسمه
thing as
المر.
العود.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing as العود basically.
All right.
So ما استفدنا.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
We have absolutely
Myrrh as
nothing.
myrrh.
Yes. عود.
Speaking of AI,
Yes.
Allah.
A topic we haven't talked about a lot, actually.
have y'all been using ChatGPT?
I did. I recently downloaded one of those apps from the App Store that is using ChatGPT as a basis,
Okay.
and it is scary.
All right. Terrence?
Allah? Yeah,
Feel
here
free
and
to
there.
elaborate.
Elaborate now once Turk finishes.
Yes.
I've been trying to plan a trip through ChatGPT because I'm so lazy when it comes to that.
Planet trip.
Plan a
Okay.
trip, yeah.
He's going to end up in Mozambique. I
Okay,
guarantee you.
how are you doing that?
Yo, ChatGPT,
Give me a trip.
give me a trip that it goes here and there about like
Are you
10 days.
Are you asking it to optimize? Are you asking it to give you hotels?
No, I'm just trying to figure out like the routes and everything, and then I'm gonna ask it for hotels, and then I'm gonna
optimize. Okay, interesting.
So I just من باب الطقطقة I downloaded the app. I'm like, yo, ChatGPT thingy, write me an RFP for blah 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 with blah blah blah, and use these as a scope and deliverables. And literally, the work that I would do in a day, it did in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, this is going to put me out of the job, probably.
Did you see the
You and a whole lot of other admins.
Microsoft Copilot?
Is it like the Google thing, or sorry, the Bing thing?
No, it's no longer Bing thing. It's Microsoft thing. You can use it on Excel, PowerPoint, Word, Outlook. You can go like, yo, read this email and figure out what they want and give me that document. Bloop.
Yeah.
Document ready.
So I'm thinking just out of curiosity, and it's really good with words, and it's really good with numbers.
Okay.
Why do we need lawyers anymore?
Because there's this thing called context, nuance, flexibility, understanding things.
Can we not hardwire that?
Understanding humans.
Yes.
Probably so.
Yes.
Still need another 20
Again,
years
you need
for
to
that.
understand these things are general AI.
Yeah.
They're not specific. They're not the AI that we're supposed to be scared of. This is just general. This is gathering information from all over the world and putting it into one place.
This is an optimization tool.
Yes.
Okay.
So speaking to what number one was saying, idiot. Hopefully the things that you put in is not really important.
No.
Good. Because
Oh.
Samsung employees
Okay.
were given access to ChatGPT.
Okay.
And then Samsung employees stopped putting confidential information and asking ChatGPT to give them solutions.
Yo, seriously.
Okay.
And they did not know that ChatGPT, anything you
Logs.
put into it, stores into it, and becomes
Yes.
data that he
It's
uses
part of the data set.
down the line.
Oh, snap.
That
Exactly. Then
is-
Samsung went back and basically banned ChatGPT from all their
But their shit
employees.
is out there.
And that's it. Whatever was put on, it's already there. Since ChatGPT is floating around.
can't say like ChatGPT. Remember when I told you this and that?
No.
Can you
Psych.
forget it? By the way, yeah,
Psych.
that was a joke. That was a joke.
Yeah, and this is the problem. Also, the bigger issue with ChatGPT, for example, because you know me, I watch Formula One a lot. So this guy was talking about, he was asking it about, I think he was on Joe Rogan, and he asked a question about the controversial win for Max Verstappen in Abu Dhabi, and he was asking why was it controversial. It couldn't give him the answer no matter how hard he tried. He knows the answer, and it just gave him a bunch of bullshit.
Because
And at one time, it told him that Lewis Hamilton was the one who won.
is it collating
Yeah.
the information from different news sources?
That's what it does.
It's from different news sources.
Yes, that's literally what it does.
When you have a
Yes.
controversial opinion, مثلا, with a polarizing issue, or something that people don't really agree on, it's not going to be able to give you a straight answer.
Exactly. So, for example, when you ask it to cite its sources, this is when it becomes an issue. Because it doesn't know what's a reliable source and what's not a reliable source. It just sometimes it makes up the source.
Yeah,
for it.
it's basically just a very smart word processor.
That's
Well, that's what I'm saying. Word
Yeah,
processor.
recently, actually, BuzzFeed has been using AI generated articles. Hello?
Bro, okay. Netflix did AI generated TV shows.
No.
Here's the
They
thing.
did one episode that was AI generated.
You're thinking,
Okay, yes.
you're thinking of South Park,
South Park.
No, not South Park. Netflix.
which they did as well. But Ilmo.
Okay.
Great episode, by the way.
BuzzFeed started using AI to generate full articles.
Okay.
And somebody went back and did the research, and apparently every single AI article is like, it's just clickbait. So it's just like travel locations, SEO, etc. So every single article they found that is basically a travel guide, it described the city as blah, blah, blah is a gem. So Belarus is so whatever. Miami is a hidden gem. Cuba is a gem of Central America. Gem. So it's literally drawing from the same data set and just literally spitting out the same
yes.
couple of variations on the same.
Regurgitate.
Yeah, because
Yes.
it doesn't know if it's real or not. It has no idea. It's about what information is on the internet. And Shamsi, you know what information is on the internet.
All of it.
All right?
All of it.
And also, it's not accurate information.
98% of it.
Exactly. So this is what you're dealing with. That's why you always have to go back and fact check. I think Samsung is going to build their own AI bot for their own employees and shit. Because
How do you fact check in a world that nobody can agree on the facts about? Dude,
welcome to the world.
yeah,
This is the world we live in.
you cannot fact check
People
a
do not
world
understand what a man and a woman is right
where
now. They're all
people
lost.
have different realities. Thank
Yes,
you. That's exactly what I was going to.
Exactly.
know.
It's everybody's lost.
Please, Adil, it's not man and woman. It is person who can get pregnant now.
And person who can't get pregnant.
Yes.
Person who can impregnate.
Fuck biology. If you studied biology, I feel bad for you, son.
I got 90 problems.
Yeah.
Biology ain't one.
You stupid
So,
idiot. No, this is ridiculous.
No, but and here you mentioned that it's a general AI. So when it gets, and it is getting to the point where it is going to be specified, where you have a lawyer GPT and you're going to have an accountant GPT.
I think ChatGPT just passed the bar by barely.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, but passing the bar doesn't mean jack shit.
لا, but you get my point.
Passing the bar is
I'm
CC all lawyers.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about for ChatGPT. You can make
Yeah, it's
it,
all information. Yeah.
yes,
yeah.
you can make it pass the bar test, but it cannot fight for you in court.
I'm talking about at some point you're going to get to a point where you will have specified softwares that would take entire industries out of commission.
Again, I would agree and disagree on that. Taking something out of commission is not going to happen. I think it's going to be
Online,
It's
you
gonna
know,
be the people-
clickbait writers.
Remember what coding was super important, which it still is to this day.
Yes.
Right? Being a guy that understands how to use AI is going to be just as important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because at one
So it's
point,
creating new industries
at
as
one
well.
point, AI is going to be just like Google. There's so much information, but you have to know how to search and get those informations and how to know if it's accurate or not.
Do you really think we can keep up with the pace though? Like at some point.
Right now, what I feel is happening, there's a lot of shortcut being taken.
Mhm.
This is what I truly believe based on sources that I have.
Okay.
And these shortcuts that are being taken. So every time you hear about all these things, you hear about the positive part of it and what it could do and what can happen in the future. But the negative parts of it, you're not talking about it. You're not talking about how it doesn't source information properly, how it creates information out of nowhere, and you don't know how to stop all that.
Okay.
And what if
There's kinks.
What if there's okay? So we all know about how like government hacking is, right? So imagine one ex-government that has 30,000 employees that are putting fake information into ChatGPT.
Which is something that's probably already happening.
Maybe.
Yes.
And then imagine that information becomes new information. You start erasing history.
It gets diluted.
Exactly.
But again, we're talking about the general open AI version. I'm talking about the version 10 years or 20 years down the line that, we know we're talking about the pace of technology, Murphy's Law, processor power doubles every 18 months. At some point, are we going to be able to actually mentally keep up with these,
when you say mentally keep up, what do you mean exactly?
Yeah, and being able to actually understand the logic and the context that it actually follows for it to do what it do in a short enough time to be able to actually use that information. You get my point?
I get your point. Look at ChatGPT. This is how I look at it.
It's just I feel like it's going.
ChatGPT is just a quick Google.
Yes.
When I say 1 + 1, what does it equal? Rather than gives me links, it will just give me the answer.
Exactly.
أعطيك مثال. Imagine you are able to create a machine that can build itself, and it can build a very tall building. You can keep up with the building as it goes, but some point building is gonna be so high. Are you gonna be actually be able to see into the clouds?
Well, again,
and at that point, the atmosphere changes, weather changes, so there's going to be different rules for the building.
If I'm going to create a specific AI to do a specific thing, it's much easier because I put borders where it should not go.
But then you have Google. Let me introduce you to Google.
But again, I don't think we're going to see anytime soon where AI is going to talk to AI to get information.
Because ultimately we set the parameters.
What's anytime soon? What's anytime soon?
A while.
Yes.
What's a while?
I think
our lifetimes.
I think no. I agree. I think there's going to be laws for all of this.
I think 20 years down the line, 25.
No, Champsy. You're not going to allow computers to talk to each other to come up with solutions for you. You will put in information to get solutions. That's why we all want quantum computing so bad. This is why we want it.
Which is a thing now, isn't it?
Not yet. It's still not there yet.
Breakthroughs.
This has always had
but
breakthroughs.
not in a commercial level.
Exactly.
I imagine a company like Google at some point is going to be able, would want to be able to build a system in which, hey, I am an octopus and I have all of these arms and I have one big mother brain that understands better than anybody else how all these arms should work, and are going to want to put that into play rather than combining, rather than keeping all of their different AI separated. You just
described DARPA, and DARPA won't let you do that.
I thought I was describing Darknet. Darknet was Skynet. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to have a lot of AI tools. Yes, but these AI tools are not going to be communicating with each other.
That's what I'm saying, where Google comes out with that.
It still won't. That's the problem.
Brain.
If your role is to create a house, why are you talking to any other industry that has nothing to do with creating a house?
Because in order for me to create the best house, I need to understand the zoning regulations and the traffic regulations.
Do you know what you're saying?
You're
saying, okay, I'm going to go to a doctor.
Try to integrate everything. That's what I'm saying.
I know. Okay. So you need heart surgery, right? What are you going to do? Go talk to a zoologist?
No.
You're going to go talk to a specific doctor that deals with a specific thing.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the same thing when you build AI. Yeah. It's only going to deal with that specific thing. And everything that it knows through the information that you put into it for that specific thing. It's going to give you some shortcuts, but it will never take over fully to 100% where it learns and does everything by itself.
You're saying the systems are always going to be separated.
They have to be separated. It's going to be hard to communicate all of them together.
It's not only about that. You can't rely 100% on AI to do anything. You need to fact check. You need to...
Not yet. That's what I'm saying. Not yet.
No, it's not about not yet. It's about, okay, I need to understand this, and I want you to really keep it in your head for the rest of your life. Whatever AI is available, we built that.
Yes.
We put in the information. We put in the parameters. We created that. It didn't create itself.
True.
It has no soul. It has no idea. It doesn't know it exists. It doesn't know jack shit. But it just knows that we told it to do certain things. If then. That's all it's doing. So it will never think for itself and give you an idea. Say, yo, you should go kill some people.
It's not about kill some people. It's about, can you take away some of those parameters in terms of letting it do its own thing without you having to go back and check it's
If you're gonna let it go do its own thing, then the thing that it's going for already has information on how to deal with the thing that's coming.
Shit, that sounds complicated. Say that again. Okay.
If I'm allowing you to go swimming It means I already talked to the swimming guard
Okay.
and told them
swimming
that
guard.
the swimming boy is
It's
coming
coming.
to
Ah,
swim.
okay. But fences.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all checks and balances. 1 + 1 = 2. You're not gonna create something out of nothing. And you're not gonna create a new software or whatever. Like, it won't give birth to something new, essentially, because you set every code. You set the parameter. That's it. It's
So
not
you
operated
tell it.
than
So
that.
tell it, do not procreate. Basically,
Basically, yes.
Basically. Not that hard.
Don't go to Zawiya for البحر.
don't. Exactly.
And we call that a callback.
Yeah. Don't be a whale.
Don't be a whale.
Don't be a whale.
So yeah, good luck, ladies and gentlemen, in the future.
Yeah.
One last topic because we are bored. Have y'all been watching everyone talk about how the US dollar is going to fall?
What?
I know.
Is bricks go brrr?
Yeah.
I saw BRICS talking about creating their own currency.
No, BRICS already surpassed the G7 in GDP.
Really?
Yeah, I think I read it today. So the thing is, here's the conversation. The conversation is that Saudi is going to sell 25% of its, I mean, not 25%, the oil that's going to sell to China is going to be receiving the payment in Chinese yuan.
Okay.
Yes.
Right? So the conversation is that that steps it away from the US dollar when those sales are being made.
Mm.
The US dollar doesn't get profit off of it. So every news media ran with the whole thing of, we're all done.
Okay.
Right?
Go on.
Did we talk about this 2 podcasts ago? Or we didn't?
No, we didn't mention.
We didn't?
The petrodollar specifically.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
So everyone's going around saying, okay, now it's the beginning of the downfall. Since Saudi wants to pull out, now it's going to be a problem.
But Russia's already selling in rubles.
I know. India is also buying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been happening.
Was it Japan when they just bought from Russia?
Japan, Bobo
Yes,
is going to buy
Japan.
in
Directly?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the US is giving them an exemption.
Japan.
Everyone's going to get the exemption they want.
Yeah, basically said.
India got the exemption as well.
Yeah, basically, now me, I'm gonna do me.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to play something for you. Let me just find it real quick. So y'all see what happened on...
It's multipolarity.
if I can find it. If I
This
can
is
find
what
it,
multipolarity
we'll
looks
just have
like.
a
Yeah,
conversation.
I think the dollar losing its value is basically due to the fact that we're gonna print money.
Are you familiar with multipolarity, Turks? What that means?
What is that?
We used
Sounds
to
like
live.
soap
We used to live in a.
Sounds like a soap opera.
we used to live in a unipolar world, which means you had one big power uni
Yes.
that everybody kind of rotated around,
The North Pole.
which is the US.
Santa Claus.
Yes.
Yes.
Nowadays, we're transitioning into a world where that is no longer the situation, where you have China rising and having its own pole of nations surrounding it, and same thing with Russia.
Yes,
And-
the term is spheres of influence.
And that basically, precludes a different rules of engagement when it comes to international relations.
Now, how does the U.S. feel
And
about
how
that?
countries deal with each other.
The U.S. This was on Fox News like I think a week ago, 10 days ago, 2 weeks, something like that. I don't remember to be honest. But since we're all up to date with remembering what we're supposed to talk about on the podcast, we just totally ignored it. But this is what the clip's about. I want y'all to hear this.
Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? Former Assistant Treasury Secretary and host of the Monica Crowley podcast, Monica Crowley,
Boy is about to cry.
is here to weigh in. Monica, great to see you this morning.
Great question.
Let's start right there. What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
What happened?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there is a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
It's all about us.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's given the United States incredible dominance in the world in terms of the economic system and in terms of trade. It's kept prices down. So whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar and the value of the dollar. But on top of it now, again, oil is the critical linchpin of this. If Saudi Arabia decides to join with America's enemies here and start trading oil in different currencies, that is going to undermine the entire global economic system. And here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced, Will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that.
What?
Yes.
Yep.
This is between the BRICS.
Yes.
Between
so
the BRICS.
Here's the thing.
Each nation has one.
Let's take it one step at a time. The idea of how powerful Saudi is to a lot of people that do not understand around the world how powerful we are. This shows you how powerful we are.
Not just now, how powerful we've been.
We've been
for a very long time.
And when I first saw that, I was like, how the turns have tabled.
Much tabled.
Subhanallah.
Yes.
We were the enemies, and now, oh my God, please, takfa. Do not go away, leave me alone.
Yo, homie, text me back.
Here's the thing about the last part about the digital currency. That's something that me and you, we talked about like 100 times. I think, frequent listeners of the podcast have heard us discuss this over the last 2 years. There will be some sort of digital currency. That's going to come whether we like it or not. But the reason how we're going to get there is going to be the shady part. And I think when the time comes, when the dollar needs to fall, they're going to come up with that digital currency and say, oh, by the way, we're switching up anyway. We don't care about this paper money. We're going with this new money. And this gets them to be back to being a superpower.
We see that
again. This is just all like theories,
speculation.
We're going back to the idea of why this is all happening. This is all happening because the U.S. switched to a reserve currency system, which is not backed by gold, and
that was since Nixon or something.
It's backed by, that's what I'm trying to understand.
It's backed by vibes.
Basically, that's it. It's not backed by anything whatsoever.
Crystals and vibes.
Here's the thing. Allow me to explain the gold standard on this dumb podcast.
Yes, very quickly.
Gold has a set price and standard. Around the world. It fluctuates, but it's very minimal.
One more thing. Once upon a time, بس إنه just once upon a time, the world worked on a basis of I have something, I give you something in return.
Bartering they call it.
والله ما كنت أدري والله معلومة مفيدة جدا كمل لا بدون ما أقاطعك ولا أقاطعك تفضل
So the gold standard essentially,
Assholes.
the gold standard essentially limited the amount of money that the US could print because there's only so much gold in the world.
Yes.
Exactly.
And if the amount of dollars is correlated directly with the price of gold, this dollar will always be this value because the price of gold is this value.
There's only so
Yes.
much gold.
Mr. Nixon said, "You know what?
Nah. Yeah, nah.
I want to print more. Like, screw this gold standard. Vibes forever."
Okay. So what
Just
happened?
go.
What happened?
Yeah, but basically said, because we're strong, we're going to force you to peg your currency to the dollar. So your currency will be tied to our currency, essentially.
If you want our security
Yes.
and you want our protection.
And oil
and for us
as
to be
yeah.
friends and
Yes.
trade between each other.
yes, and oil, as Karen just said, was traded in the US dollar, hence the petrodollar.
Exactly.
And
So-
our currency is tied to
The US dollar.
And
US dollar.
There's
Yes.
always been
Now-
There's dollar, the petrodollar.
with that.
Affect us?
Yeah. How is it gonna change our currency?
It's not about how it's going to change our currency. It's because if changes are going to be made,
It'll be on our own terms.
yes, it's going to be on our own terms, and we're going to be making those changes before it becomes a problem on us.
Yes.
We're going to move with the world. Wall Street Journal just posted something saying the Crown Prince Mohammed Salman said, "I'm no longer trying to appease the United States. If the United States wants anything, we need something back in return." I'm like, that was the common sense for years now. That's been our language with everybody. We're willing to do business with anybody, but we also have our own terms because we have our own vision. We have our own things we want to do with our country and our own sovereignty.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's an
that's-
exchange at the end of the day.
Exactly.
That's been the standard forever. But essentially, like, the West has woken up and did the shocked Pikachu face, like, whoa,
Exactly.
ليه? what happened? يعني فهمني. And it's like, yo, خلاص. And it's like, we're gonna follow our own best interests, and a lot of the times it's gonna align. It's not gonna align as much as you want it to be, but خلاص, يعني deal with it. يا حبيبي.
I saw a tweet that said Saudi Arabia is making its own choices. How does it feel when your black Dorito can't do anything?
When you're
Your black Dorito, the B-52s.
Oh,
It's like,
that's a pose.
yeah, your black Dorito doesn't save you anymore. It doesn't help you. You can't go to war. You can't do jack shit.
if we're gonna go back to the importance of the Saudi, economy to the world, that was shown during, the oil crisis in the 70s. That was the first time the world realized, like, oh, okay, this
Yeah,
is
we can't play with them.
Yes, exactly. This is a situation where we are going to be hurt as the entire world. So Saudi gets to decide what Saudi wants, and that's been, alhamdulillah, and we've been blessed to have the ability to be able to build our own selves over the years, to get to the point where we are today. So being able to make these choices and looking at the landscape of the world economy, it's very clear that the US is no longer leading on a lot
Not
of
only
things.
that, I wanted people to understand. Everyone that's afraid right now, saying, "Oh, dollars, what's going to happen? I have money in dollars." Hi, everybody. What's the name? Saudi's not going to pull out on the US dollar, let it fall. Not even China. China has like $1 trillion?
in US dot.
Yeah.
And Saudi has like 250 billion or something
Yes.
like that.
This
Yeah, so like we're not gonna let our own money just dissolve just because we hate the dollar. That's not what it is. It's just a different function for how
It's
people
a-
are
it's a
gonna be
loosening-
using their currencies
it's
now.
a loosening up of the economic system and basically diversification of
Exactly. مو كل شيء عشانك انت. And also, let's all keep in mind that COVID showed us all these problems. It showed us that when these things hit, how logistics
System shocks.
was hurt, how ship manufacturing was hurt, how you couldn't buy products, how you couldn't do so many things. So if we're all going to rely on the same thing that we relied on before, and we have something just as drastic, we're going to fail again. So how about we do a system that helps us even when we face tragedy?
I think that this is also going to push, the world economy to move towards sort of regionalization in a sense. Instead of having to rely on global
Globalization.
sources,
Yeah, exactly.
you rely on regional sections of the world where خلاص, you can produce everything you want within this sphere of influence, let's call it.
As capitalist, man, I'm kind of a little bit butthurt. The capitalism is not going to have its own
capitalist
win.
man is this? Yeah, it's not going to win. It's not the end of history.
I can't rob people no more.
Oh,
The
sorry.
robbery was fun at first, but now, like, what am I going to do?
Sorry, Fukuyama.
I have to be faithful and shit.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Brown? The Browns are going to do their own thing, man?
What do you mean history still goes on?
Yes, yes. No, well, that's the shocking part is that a lot of people. I had this conversation with a friend of mine about why does Saudi want to do its own thing? And I was like, give me a reason why we shouldn't. It's that simple.
Yes. I believe the term that they use, Adil, is uppity.
Okay.
No, it's us going back to the global system that really existed prior to the past 100 years,
At the same time, keep in mind,
where every country kind of looked out for its own, and the idea that everybody followed one single sound, one single flag is not an idea that is predominant in world history. Not at all. Not even Rome had the whole world following its flag. But the fact that the U.S. has been able to build this dominance over the past since World War II is a unique historical event.
It's a testament to globalization.
No, it's a unique historical event that is now kind of fading because
time.
the world has grown more resilient.
Yes, to quote James
And
Carr.
also, you got so powerful that when flaws started happening, we realized that you only care about yourself.
The fog settled.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, you had something to compare yourself against. You had communism, and you said, "Look, we are good; they are bad." But then when everybody started following your methodology, and we realized, oh shit, this ain't all are cracked up to be.
Exactly.
And then that's what
It's
people.
not a one glove fits all.
Yeah, this is what led to the current situation.
What do you mean your pronouns are they, them?
What do you mean?
But also, that's also another issue.
A cultural thing.
Yeah, being like, because I'm in tune into a lot of things, and we have
Shock therapy is a
conversations.
thing.
That conversation is being had even on Wall Street, everywhere. Okay, we're gonna get to a point that we do not agree with the way that you guys live life, and so we don't agree with doing business in a certain way that you guys want to do business.
Well, the idea was prior to that to know, oh, we are doing it right. Aren't you looking?
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But now it's totally different. Now you are changing language. That's what you're doing. You're changing
Yes.
language.
You're
You're trying to change everything for you. There was a law that passed that said teachers can have the right to talk about, transgenders and whatever LGBTQ in schools. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with that was that if I don't want my kid to have that conversation,
Screw you, Adil.
exactly. This is what I'm talking about. And all my boys in the States all tell me the same thing. Like, our issue is I want to raise my kid in a certain way. I needed to come here and learn these things because I'm going to take him somewhere else and build him to be something else. But you're telling me that he has to learn all these things that he has no business in learning, especially in third grade. So you're doing a lot of things that's going to affect you and how people do with your culture.
The problem now that's happening is that, specifically in the US, I've noticed that you are actively being undermined by the state in teaching your child your own values.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a Muslim, for me, the idea of raising my child in a traditional Muslim way with religious values, with cultural values, with normative values when it comes to like, you're not gonna drink and party and whatever, like as a high schooler or whatever. Like, no, أنت بتصلي بتروح مسجد. I am undermined by the state. Like, your child, you are oppressing your child backwards, man.
Yes.
No, there's an element
I
of.
went to high school. I went to elementary, middle schools in the States. I can tell you for a fact, you're not growing on freedom of religion. This is not what you're being taught. You're taught Christian values. This is like back, when I used to go to school. That's what they taught you. They didn't care about your religion. They care about their religion.
Yes, and now they've lost religion and replaced it with another religion.
Now we're making some changes. Now, we don't care about that either. We care only about this. Yeah, you have the right to be whoever you want to be, but what we teach is our right, and this is what we want to do. This is a problem.
Sounds very Samsung, to be honest.
No, it's looking at. There's always been melting pots and places where people live together, and everybody had the right to live the way they wanted to have their own culture.
But the problem
and
is
the US has for a long time that was a key strength. This is a melting pot.
Yeah,
but
back in the day, the melting pot was a melting pot of different Christian cultures. Yeah, you had Irish, German, etc.
Exactly.
But when you threw ethnic and religious diversity, it went sideways real quick.
Whoa. Pump the brakes. That's what they said.
Exactly.
That's what they said.
Yo,
No.
Yo,
Get that My pot.
No, you're not. Your name is not Miguel. You're Michael. Shut the fuck. Shut hell.
And this is what Europe's kind of been complaining about as well for a long time. The whole cultural homogeneity thing that's been going
because
on
here's the thing with Europe, like
being
they've
diluted.
they've only recently stopped killing each other.
Yeah, that's something that people forget, by the way.
And they've been putting up with the legacies of their colonial, excursions.
اوكي احنا رحنا هناك.
Excursions على اساس انه was all fun and games.
Atrocities.
Okay, كويس.
Yeah, you describe it like it's backpacking in the summer.
I mean, I was trying to keep the conversation going. But,
like
The Great British Excursion to India.
يعني احنا رحنا هناك.
Sponsored by Land Rover.
احنا رحنا هناك. دقيقة انت ما راح ترجع انت ليش جاي معانا انت؟ لا احنا رحنا وانت تقعد هناك.
Yes.
So is this why Rome fell?
No. Put that in there.
No, but we're talking about a dominant world culture being diluted by cultural. I've been trying to think of the word. Is it head? It's not.
Hedonism.
You're
It's not hedonism.
You're
It's not
trying to link
hedonism.
two events in history together.
They all do link one way or the other.
Look.
But then I'll tell you why. Then Rome. One of the reasons Rome fell was their currency being devalued. The emperor started putting less silver in the currency, and you had other upstarts around them that started fighting them for that. And
Roman cryptocurrencies, yes.
Okay, and part of the reason that Rome fell was that you had a multiplicity of different cultures within it that started invading it and started becoming Roman and started doing Roman things exactly better than the Romans did.
When in Rome.
Here's the thing: the collapse.
You're seeing that. You're seeing people doing capitalism better than the Romans, than the Americans. You're seeing people.
Leave it to Shamsi. Just كده يرمي one of the most contentious historical questions in the world. كده أنا شامسي أنا بحلها الحين.
No, there's multiple. There's always multiple.
Because here's the thing: if you pay attention, everybody that's being attacked is mostly the kids that were born in the 2000s. Us that are born in the 1900s.
Yes.
Okay, it's very hard to kind of crack.
The late
down.
1900s.
The good old late 1900s.
Like for us, it's kind of hard to kind of crack us into the mold that they want us to be because we saw what's before, we saw what's after.
We were born cracked.
Exactly.
We witnessed the crackening.
But you have a new generation that's dealing with mental health, that's dealing with a lot of problems, and it's easy to come and feed it information that's not true or fabricated or in a way that's different.
Because you get to choose your own truth.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because they came into awareness, into a world where you get to choose your own truth, and ما كان في جريدة واحدة تقراها يا حبيبي وما كان في قناة واحدة في التلفزيون تاخذها كيبل أنتنا وتشغلها.
Let's all make up some bullshit.
عرفت.
Well, anyway. We're saying all this to say that we have no idea how the hell we got here.
The world.
Okay, that's it, basically.
The world.
Yeah, I know.
No, what we're saying is Rome fell. So
you got common sense.
I got a question. The الشدة اللي في antenna because of the double N?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Also,
I just wanted to confirm.
That's what we used to call it. كنا صغار أنتنا. عندي لكم سالفة عند شوش يا عيال.
شوش?
شوش.
As in like, satellite receivers?
Yeah.
No, the showers.
أقول لك بشوي كنا نقول في سوالف ما
I'm
تتقال.
trying to explain to people, my guy. I'm trying to be funny. You can't be funny.
We got reach. ما عليك.
شفت كيف قبل شوي كان في سالفة ما تنقال على البودكاست؟
Yes.
الحين في سالفة ما تنقال على البودكاست.
Okay, so we can close it right now?
Yeah, عشان نخلص.
Okay, I thought you were singing on the podcast.
No, bro. ما تنقال على البودكاست.
Come on.
I'm sorry, guys. It's a really good salva, though.
By the way, you guys have a huge ass fucking satellite right next to your house, right? Oh, okay. All right, gentlemen, we're going to talk about porn, most likely.
Exactly.
Maybe.
He said exactly. Caught him on 4K.
Did I say exactly? وبطلع من الحفرة دخلتني فيها الله يصلحك. It's bad. It's bad. That's what we're going to say.
Shout out to our tens and tens. This is shout out to tens of viewers. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate y'all. We apologize.
No, we don't.
Yes.
We never do.
Great
Hey,
episode.
listen, look, we always apologize at the end of something. They think that you're like, you're sorry. Then they come back again. They're not going to be the same bullshit next week.
So just in case, apology.
Just in case, apology.
His name was Alaric.
Alaric the Visigoths, yes. Back to the fall of Rome.
Yes, he was the man
I didn't ask.
that sacked
Who
Rome.
cares?
I don't know what are you talking
No, just to say how the greatest question in history, how Rome fell. I'll just give you that.
Rome fell.
42.
Rome fell when Muhammad al-Fatih conquered Istanbul. That's my,
Yes.
That's
Question: which channel for this? Anyway, so we asked.
yeah,
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.